I don't know if I've ever been here before. There's a lot of memorials here. There's like over 1,000 memorials here. Okay, how in the world am I supposed to get in here? This is such a narrow road. Okay, well, I had to read through that real quick. They didn't say anything about filming. As long as you're here to visit graves, it seems to be fine. I've definitely never been here before. It looks really historic. I doubt I was trying to put out an episode the same day, but it seems like I'm probably not going to make that mark. This is called the Riverside Cemetery. We're in St. Joe, Indiana currently. Why did it look like trail? Oh, there's section markers, I see. They're like wooden section markers. So I guess we'll start with this perceivably a Civil War memorial. And I'll just park right here because it's, well, I guess I have to pull forward a little bit to not completely be blocking anything. That way somebody could go around me if they needed to. Welcome back to another episode on 539. I don't really know if I showed the journey getting to this location or not, but it's been quite a journey today. I was intending to put out an episode on the day that I'm filming this, but I don't really think that's going to happen. It's already 6 o'clock and I've been to 5 different locations, and I've either already filmed at them recently, or recent enough not to redo, or they were inaccessible, or all kinds of different issues. Maybe I'll throw some of it in at the end if anybody wants to watch it. But yeah, so we ended up in St. Joe, Indiana, and I've never been to this place before, although I've been through St. Joe quite a few times in the past. I just never knew this existed. So we're gonna get out and take a look at it. It's definitely a 1800s cemetery. It looks like Civil War memorial right in front of us. So we'll check that out first, and then we'll head around and see what other historic graves we can run into. Well, there's a creek right down there. They were pretty strict on the regulations, but not one of them said that I could not film. It's a weird hum coming from that direction, which to my knowledge is just some sort of school. Is that? Must be another section of the cemetery this way. Whoa. Definitely a big animal that way. Well, at least big enough to stir up the brush. This place is kind of odd in its layout. I'm sure it's just probably the way the land was donated. Something. I bet an animal hit that, because it looked like it had been smashed over. Ooh, lots of wasp. Might be a ground wasp nest around here somewhere. And then right here is our Civil War memorial, surrounded by some of the local... Oh, that is a... I thought I saw a person, but there is a statue of a person back there. Maybe we'll check that out here. So yeah, I'm surrounded by some of the veterans of the Civil War, it looks like here, or maybe possibly other wars as well. It does look like we have a Korean War veteran here, Edward Paul Brown, 1934 to 1985. And then probably next to it here is either, yeah, it looks like probably wife, Nina Brown, 1940 to 2010. And then Josephine Keyes, 1893 to 1974. It's very interesting. Okay, so it may actually just be a general war memorial, even though the soldier depicted on the top seems to be a Civil War soldier. Leon Keyes here, Private, U.S. Army, World War I, 1895 to 1984. I don't know what this would have gone to. It says Dad. There was one placed right over there that says Mom. I hate to move it to the wrong location, but I mean, this one says Mom. So we'll just move it next to it, so at least it's where it can be found and replaced if necessary. Ooh. Someone else maybe potentially joining us. Looks like definitely. One country, one flag. I've never seen that on a memorial like this. You see 1861 to 1865, so clearly a Civil War memorial. And it looks like this is probably a list here of the veterans. Oh, okay. Never mind. I forgot the road went through. They were just driving through. And then moving here to the other side, this is going to be a little bit more difficult due to the color and the time of day. And then some of the history here about this particular memorial. It was erected by John C. Carnes Post, number 144. What does that say? AR, Department of Indiana, and Patriotic Citizens of St. Joe vicinity, to the memory of those who served their country during the Civil War. Wow, it's so bright out today. Trying to get a good shot of that is very difficult. And there's an interesting one here. Bruce Boline, June 19th, 1940. There's balance, tolerance, courage, wisdom, reason, righteousness, service, and happiness. Some good principles in life to live by. Alright, so it looks like a lot of our historical stuff is this way. There are some things behind us. I don't really even know if this is historical or not, but there is statues of like people in very interesting poses back here, and I think it at least warrants a look. Seemingly quite a few too. I see 1, 2, 3, 4. What is this? This place is interesting. Maybe it's like, oh, you know what this is? I think this is actually not part of the cemetery at all. This is like part of the school. Okay, I see. That's like Abraham Lincoln. There's a bunch of different historical people, maybe from the local area. Is that Larry? That looks like the back of Larry Bird there. Okay. Never mind. And then this is a modern section here. However, we'll kind of go through real quick. I'm not going to read many of these, or probably any of them. I don't really know. However, I think it warrants definitely a look. It's a really interesting location, and there's something over here. I don't know what it is. If this is another part of the cemetery, there's a gate over here. I think it's actually technically to get into the cemetery. I don't really know. This is different than I've ever seen before. Actually, I don't know if that's even part of the school, or if this is just a general trail, or maybe it is. Maybe it's like a nature center or something. I definitely don't want to... Something back in the woods. I don't want to cross onto school property if that's what that is. If it's public property, it'd be maybe different. Although I think school nature centers are technically public property. I seem to remember that from my own elementary school back in the day. We had a... Okay, no, this is a public trail. This is the Riverside Greenway. So this is a public walking trail. And then this is just like a little decorative gate that they put up on this side so that people walking down the trail could see it. However, right next to it is... Okay, it looks like maybe an old base stone. And there's the river down there. Okay. Wow. This might be why they have some of the advanced signage here on what you can and can't do in this place, since it's literally surrounded by a public walking trail. Some drainage pipes sticking out there. And so, nothing historic so far in this section, but definitely a cool little area to walk through. And it is blazing hot out today. It is like 90 degrees and it must be near like 90% humidity. I don't even know. What is that? Weird. Looks like it's just junk. I don't really want to... It looks kind of dirty, so I don't think I'm going to mess with it. There's no hidden graves or anything back there. There's some minor damage here, looks like from possibly a recent storm. But such a neat little area. See, it must have come off from higher up. I can't see exactly where it sheared off, but you can see on the branch itself where it broke and has fallen. It doesn't look like there's any... Yeah, there's no stones underneath of it, but could have caused some damage. And it just feels much older. And I don't know how interesting it's going to be going past a bunch of figurines if they have literally nothing to do with the cemetery, especially for this video that we're doing, but yeah. So we'll kind of pass that up for the moment here and kind of walk the edges. We'll check out the sign, take a look at a few graves. And this is where I heard the animal. There is a few base stones and whatnot back here, but that's to be expected in a trash pile like this. Actually, the first thing I really wanted to check out here, I guess I'll probably end up having to come back here to do maybe a few more episodes. I'm going to try and get as many in as I can today. But again, with the heat and humidity, I know some of you out there living in southern, more arid climates think, 90 is nothing, but when the humidity is as bad as it is, then it becomes something. Think of 90 like your 120. So it looks like a Carpenter family, or no, a Daly family here. This is father and mother. And then Ruth, 1920 to 2009, and Keith, 1916 to 2013. Wow. 3 years away from 100. This is just kind of cool. It's a little bit newer, but I do really love the design. So kind of a mix of what's new and what's not in this place. I thought somewhere I saw a zinc marker. It's really hard to tell. This is such an unusually shaped cemetery. I'm not really sure where I saw it. Let's see, Quantz family. That's a very interesting name too. Charles, 1902 to 1947, and Mildred B, 1903 to blank. And you do see a new decoration on it, so it does look like they maybe have living relatives. So again, maybe a remarriage. And then just George here in 1856, to 1929. And I think, if I'm correct, it may actually belong to this family section here, which is Swinford, or Swinford. I'm not really sure 100% honestly. But the raised lettering is almost exactly the same, and it does look, if you see right here, there's a patch of mud, and I would guess that someone has maybe removed that, hopefully for restoration purposes. Obviously I can't be 100% positive on that. Yeah, I'm lost. I mean, not lost, this place isn't that big, but I don't see the marker that I was wanting to head for. I don't see how I would be able to miss it from this point. I don't know. Alright, let's read a few on our way to the sign and check out the signage at the front here. Here's John Ingle, 1817 to 1902, and Cynthia, 1830 to 1912.